My name is Ariel. We live in Rockland County, New York. So we met, oh my goodness, how old? I'm 26. So we met, I was 18 when we met. We met through mutual friends, got married. Now we have 2 kids. We have a 5-year-old, Jayliana, and an 18-month-old, Daniela. And they're our entire world.
My name is Darren. So I entered foster care because I have an older sister. I am the second child of 6 now. And my biological mother would leave us in the home alone. And she's about 1.5 years older than me. So you're talking about a 4-year-old and a 5.5-year-old constantly being left without supervision. And then at one point there was a fire where we lived. And that was when CPS got involved. I was in the foster care system until I was adopted the age of 8.5, 9 years old. So I was adopted by my father, who I had met through the foster care agency I was assigned to. He had worked there for over 20 plus years, and he also went to the same church of my current foster family at the time. So I had began going to church and really experiencing faith in a different way, really from a young age. At the age of 6, when I had gotten to a foster family, they brought me to church. That experience wasn't a bad experience like some of the others, in the sense of I wasn't abused in any way, but that family probably broke my heart the most. I was used to change. I was used to being in temporary situations, but with that family, I had been with them for almost 2 years. And then at a certain point, I felt like I was given up on. So my father came into the picture. As I said, he was a worker at the agency I belonged to. And because we went to the same church as my former foster family, there was a connection there. So the agency had asked him if he would bring me to my next placement. And he asked me if I wanted to come live with him. And I said, yeah. I said, I'll stay. And then from there, we would build something together. To me, he changed my life. He gave me an opportunity at a better life. And probably the greatest thing that he's done is introduce me to the love of God in a way where his love didn't change. And he never gave up on me despite anything that I did. So when I was 4 and 5, I was in a residential. And at that time, my mother still had her rights, meaning there was a plan in place for her to get me back within her care, which is normally the plan for a lot of kids in the foster care system, and they call that reunification. That's the #1 goal, is to reunify kids with their parents. With that said, the parents have to be pretty much hitting some type of growth marks or benchmarks that you want to say. So for me, I was sitting in a residential, and I remember having visits or scheduled visits, supervised visits with my workers and my biological mother. And every time I went into those visits, she never showed up. Until they eventually terminated her rights. And my biological mother really came into the picture, I want to say 2-3 years ago. One way I knew the Lord had worked in me is me being able to engage her. There wasn't a resentment that I held with her. And I knew that was only work that happened after I became a Christian, and the work of the Holy Spirit, because the Lord has forgiven me so much. So who am I not to forgive this woman? And I think of how old she was when she had me and my sister. She was a young mom, And I don't know that she had the support that I had. So the Lord had began a work of giving me more compassion for her. And that one day when we spoke, I wasn't as angry. I was hurt, but I wasn't as angry. And one thing that I didn't want to miss out was the opportunity to share with her what the Lord has done in my life.
You know, Darren has always kind of realigned me to, you know, we have been forgiven much. So meeting her, I kind of had to check myself and really engage with the Holy Spirit.
How can we, as a church community, as believers, get involved with foster youth within the foster care system? There's a lot of ways, luckily, that really fit so many different people in whatever life you currently have. I will always suggest adoption. There are a handful of kids that their plan is not for reunification, and they need a family. We need people that will say yes. My father said yes to me and to 17 other kids of his own. And he fostered a lot more than that, whose plan was reunification or whatever. And it was his yes that gave me hope.